Hi, you guys. We are on chapter 2 and we are doing section 2.2. I have two new vocab words for you. One of them is vertical angles right here, and the other one is linear pairs. Okay, so what are they? What's the difference? What happens? Vertical angles, I like to refer to these guys as bow ties. Okay, or you can look at the V's. They form V's together. Let's see. They are two angles that are across from each other. Keyword. And it's when two lines intersect and they are congruent. So what the heck does all of that mean? So let's look at this line right here. And when I intersect it with this line, do you see how I can kind of make like a bow tie out of it? And I'm actually going to color in my bow tie. I have a pink bow tie like so. And what that means is that angle 2 and angle 4 are vertical angles. That is one pair of vertical angles. And the other fun fact about vertical angles, 2 and 4, when they are across from each other like that in my pink bow tie, angle 4 and angle 2 are congruent. Remember, that's a fancy word for equal. But in geometry, we put the squiggly on top, which actually is the symbol for congruent, but it means they are equal. They are the same measure. Okay, and so if we actually look at the bow tie in the other direction, and if I do the bow tie like so, that means that 1 and 3 are also congruent. Those are another pair of vertical angles. Okay, so I'm going to list both of them. Angle 1 is the same as angle 3. Those are my green ones. And I also know that angle 2 is the same as angle 4. Those are my pink ones. And that's kind of a fun fact about vertical angles. So if I give you angle 2, you can figure out what angle 4 is because they're the exact same. All right, cool. Let's talk about a linear pair. So a linear pair is a pair of angles. You can look at your notes from yesterday to remember the word adjacent. That means that they're touching or they share a side, kind of like 1 and 4. Those are adjacent because they are sharing this ray right here. They're touching. That's what adjacent means. And the fun thing about linear pairs is that they form a straight line. I mean, you know what the word linear means, right? And you know what the word pair means, right? So it is a pair of angles, two angles, that form a line. Okay, so it's like pretty self-explanatory. So I have a couple different options here. One pair of linear angles, or linear pair, if you will, is angle 1 and angle 4. Do you see how if you put those right next to each other, they form a straight line? Do you see the straight line right here? That means angle 1 and angle 4 are considered a linear pair. It's a pair of angles, two angles that form a line. And yes, there's actually a bunch of them in this picture. So let's look at another one. Angle 1 and angle 2, I'm pretty sure those come together to form a straight line. Do you see it? That is another example of a linear pair. It's a pair of angles that form a straight line. You can tell that we have a couple more. How about 2 and 3? Do you see this straight line? 2 and 3 come together. They form a linear pair. They are a pair of angles, two angles that come together, that are adjacent, that make a straight line. And the last one, I don't think I said this one yet, angle 3 and angle 4. That is another linear pair. And let's talk about whether they are congruent, not equal, whatever. And linear pairs always add up to 180 because do you remember that in a straight line, like so, a straight line equals 180 degrees. So all you have to do is add the two angles together and you get 180 degrees. Let me go the other direction. What about these two? These two form a straight line. I could add them together and they equal 180 degrees. So what's the big difference here? Up here with vertical angles, angle 1 and angle 3 are equal. They're the same exact measure, the same exact number. Angle 2 and angle 4, they are equal. They're the same exact number. And I have the same picture down here. 1 and 3 are still equal. They're still vertical angles, but when you put it together with 1 and 4, do you see how it makes a straight line? That, my friends, equals 180 degrees. So make sure that you're okay with these two very important vocab words and the differences between them, that vertical angles are equal. Two angles that form a straight line are not always equal. They are supplementary. Do you remember that vocab word from yesterday means that they add up to 180 degrees? Let's do a couple practice problems here. Let's try and determine whether they are vertical angles. I will abbreviate that as VAs. Linear pair, I will abbreviate those as LP, or we just have neither. Number 1. I am seeing two angles that come together to form a straight line. Do you see it? They are sharing this ray right here, which means they are adjacent. But when you smush them together, we have a straight line, which adds up to 180 degrees. That means that this pair is a linear pair. Let's look at B. For letter B, I was thinking that this was going to be a vertical angle situation. So I have one line, and if I try and make a bow tie out of it, my bow tie is kinked. Oh, that didn't work very well. I'm trying to make a bow tie out of it, but it's not two straight lines. In order to do vertical angles, we have to have two straight lines. Do you see it up here? 1, 2. They make an X. I do not have an X here. I have a kink. This is an example of neither. You might be thinking, but wait, what about, why isn't it called a linear pair? Well, a linear pair would be this and this. That angle is not where angle 4 is. Angle 4 is in a different spot. Okay, so not a linear pair there either. Let's look at 5 and 6. 5 and 6, I am definitely seeing a bow tie situation. 5 is here, 6 is here. Those are equal. Those are vertical angles. Letter D, I'm seeing a bow tie. O, I thought it was a bow tie, but 3 is here and 4 is not here, so it's not a bow tie. What about, oh yeah. These I can add together and they equal 180 degrees because, do you see the straight line? Straight line. When you have a straight line, that means that they are supplementary. That is a linear pair. They form a straight line together. Here's the line. Here's the ray that they share. Linear pair. 5 and 6. I'm thinking another bow tie. Oh, 5's not in the right spot. That's not a bow tie. Okay, let me try the other way. Here's 5. If I color in 5, 6 is not in the right spot. Those I thought were vertical angles, but they are not. That is actually neither. They are actually not a linear pair, if that's what you were wondering, because remember, for a linear pair, they need to form a straight line, and I know you're thinking they are on a straight line, but they do not share a ray. There's this like gap here in the middle. That is not a pair that forms a straight line. We have a big gap right here. So not exactly a linear pair. That is a neither. Last one. Remember, for linear pairs, we need to have a straight line. I do not think 3 and 4 make a straight line. I do see another kink, so it's not two straight lines. It can't be vertical angles. This is another one that is a neither. It looks a lot like the second one that we did, this one. Okay, let me show you just a couple practice problems real quick, and then we will save the rest for in class, all right? Calculate RSU. Do you remember how to do this? This was on our test last week. Just trace it with your finger. RSU, RSU. Oh, okay, so that's this. I'm going to put an X there. I am seeing that these two angles come together to form a straight line. So I'm going to put X plus 62 equals 180. Why is it forming a straight line? Because this is one of the angles. And when I put it together with this one, we have a straight line. So I'm taking this angle, which I have to solve for. I am adding it to 62, and I am equaling it to 180. Why is it not 90? Because remember, 90, if you think back to what we learned yesterday, that is when you have a box like so with a 90-degree angle. That is not this problem. This problem is a straight line supplementary. So I just need to subtract the 62, and I got X equals 118 if I did that mental math correct. 140 is going to be very similar. I am seeing a straight line, and they are sharing this ray. So I'm going to put an X here. And I know that when I add those two together, because it forms a straight line has 180 degrees. So I'm going to subtract 140. And I got X equals 40. I'm going to save the rest for class, you guys. Thanks for watching, and make sure you let us know if you have questions, all right? Love you all.